Welcome to the Small But Massive podcast. I have three special guests today. I have Ruffus beside me here, who's chilling out, who's just about to fart on me. Ruffus, what are we doing here?
Chill out, boss.
That's you
just
there
sit
now.
down.
Ruffus, who is Wally's dog. We have Oisin, Waves. Philip James Wallace, songwriter, multi-instrumentalist, creative tutor, father, all-round star man. You're welcome. Oisin of Waldorf Cannon, songwriter, tutor, all-round top lad, and father, and who has just become another father recently, 2 weeks ago, to a wee baby girl. Congratulations!
Thank you.
So we normally you're going to do a couple of unplugged songs for us after,
Sure.
just after the podcast. So do you want to tell the people out there what the songs are called and
Okay.
a wee bit about them?
I think we're going to do Dear Richard, which was our last single. Which was our second last single. It's going to be on the new album, which is coming out soon. And it's, to cut a long story short, Oisin found a letter in the library at uni. And
Was it a love letter?
Yeah, Dear Richard.
Yeah.
And
A fantastical love letter.
Was it quite naughty or was it quite heart-wrenching?
A very angry,
Was it
angry letter.
An angry letter.
It was an
Was
angry
Richard
letter.
it was all over for Richard, is that what we're saying?
Aye, pretty much.
Yeah.
So whoever this Richard guy is, anyhow, we...
Well, do you know what? What I will say on behalf of Richard, if you're out there, and you are out there, and you are listening to the lads, this is for you.
Aye, it was in a book about baroque music.
Yep.
So I left it back in the book. I didn't take it with me, so it could be still there in the library, McGee. If Richard needs to go and look for it. Any Richards out there that...
What year was that there? Just
That'll be about 2011, about 10 years ago.
10 years ago. So, Richard, you're out there now, and your age will not give it away, because you could be married now. He could have met the love of his life. He could have children. He could have a mortgage. He could have a nice fancy job. We could know anything about it. And so that's one song. And what's the next song?
It's our most recent single, which was out a few weeks ago. It's called We Are Your Government.
We Are Your Government, and it was getting great plays and it was getting great write-ups online.
Yeah.
So what I will say is, so people just keep an eye on our social media and Glasgowbury YouTube channel. You'll see the lads doing the performance. So tell us this, guys. So I have two of you there like a double barrel. So I could shoot a question out and it goes do 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 do. That's more than double, but that's just I was feeling
That's
the
a
groove.
triple barrel.
I was feeling the. Do you all listen up, Arians?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Pretty
deadly.
good.
So.
Feeling good.
Wally and Oisin, growing up when you were younger, right, in primary school.
Yes.
For Wally, for you yourself, in the early days, I know, Oisin, you were a Donegal man, and for you, Wally, you grew up, wasn't it the Waterside in Derry?
That's right, sir.
So what was primary school like for you?
For me?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good question. I was grand. I think it was grand. I can't really remember much about it.
Yeah.
To be honest, it was
And
happy times.
Music,
there was no problem.
music-wise, was there
Problem.
music about,
Well, I sang in the choir, and I played the French horn. And I played the French horn for years, but I started that in primary school, and I started singing in the choir when I was really young. And I was playing in the orchestra and getting out of class to go and sing or play in the band.
And when you say orchestra there, was that like a primary school kind of
brass
orchestra?
band,
Was it just your school, or was it schools got together and stuff?
No, it was just Everton Primary School.
Yeah. And well, obviously it must have been a real musical school then if you were able to get all that access.
It was pretty good. Thinking about it now, you didn't think about it then, but I was lucky.
And what about teachers and stuff? Was there any sort of music teachers that you still would know to this day, or?
From primary school,
Yeah.
no, but my secondary school was Foyle, Mr. West. He was a music teacher. He was great. Actually, Robert Goodman, who plays trumpet, still in bands. What band is he playing now?
This is Berserk.
Yeah, he would have taught me in secondary school the French horn as well.
There you go.
So, and
I never knew you played that.
I haven't played it now.
I
I can play a wee bit of I have a trumpet in the house. I've been practicing that with James. James learned trumpet at school, at primary school now. So I've been trying to learn that with him. I can play it a wee bit, but just so he would practice as well, so we'd have a bit of crack.
So you're actually learning a new instrument out of James?
I'm always learning a new instrument.
Always learning a new.
Yes.
Oisin, over to you. What was it like for you in Donegal and the far-flung hills? Tell people where you're from and just...
I grew up in a place called St John's Point, just outside Duncanilly, which is kind of a wee small village. Just kind of between Donegal town and Killybegs. If you're going to Killybegs, you have to drive through Duncanilly. Primary school, when I was about maybe 9 or 10, a couple of guys from Ballyshannon, Bundoran area, father and a son, came and they started doing music lessons on a Monday from 3 o'clock onwards. So I used to go to them for...
Was it like trad or was it just all sorts of music?
The guy, Seamus Sweeney, and then a son, Brian Sweeney. Seamus taught fiddle and trad stuff, and then Brian taught like keyboards and guitars and all that sort of stuff.
That's really good. Does that give you a good insight into... Would that have been around the time you started playing an instrument yourself?
Well, I would have been singing before that. My dad used to play, and I was kind of always singing. I would always be made to sing, you know what I mean?
Was it the big sort of Donegal ballads or what? Or was it the big 20 verses or were they short or, you know?
No, kind of... I was always sort of listening to stuff that my parents would have listened to, you know?
Yeah.
I remember when I was about 11.
Daniel O'Donnell.
Aye. I remember when I was about 11 going and singing at something in Duncanilly Community Centre, and I sang Paul Simon, The Boy in the Bubble, a cappella, because I couldn't play at that time. I think it was about 10 or 11 maybe. So that's the kind of stuff I was into.
Brilliant. So you were performing from early on. Look yourself, Wally. And then, so what about secondary school? So, Oisin, what second? Did you go like
I went to secondary school in Killybegs.
Killybeg?
Aye. There was a music teacher there, Paul Coughlin. But there wasn't a lot of kind of other musicians in there. There was maybe one or two, you know what I mean?
Yeah, did you find that was... Well, that's maybe just the way sometimes musicians that want to do what you wanted maybe to do at that time.
Aye. Kind of when I got a wee bit older then, I met a load of musicians around Donegal town. I started playing in bands up around there.
Yeah.
When I was about 16, 17.
Deadly.
So that's kind of where I started playing in bands and stuff.
Yeah. And what about you, Wally? You're doing like traffic signs there. People should know, you know, it's like to the left, to the right.
Just trying to control this man. I don't want him to knock over a camera by accident.
He's all right. He's doing all right. He's doing all right there.
Doing great.
He's doing good there.
So
he's the third harmony. People should know. You know, people should know out there that Ruffus is the third.
He actually is singing on the Lockdown Blues, which is on our Lockdown Special EP.
Yeah.
I have him howling in the background while I'm playing the blues. He's all... It's pretty good.
So he knows these arenas well. So what about you, Wally, in secondary school? Was there much music and many people about and, you know?
I suppose I was still playing the French horn, and then I started playing drums, though, which was the big change for me then. Which was great. And then I was hanging around with people that were into bands and that kind of vibe, and then we were forming our own bands at school then and rocking out.
Yeah, I mean, would that have been sort of just original material or covers and
stuff?
It
would have been covers to start with, but we were writing our own songs straight away too.
Yeah, and what about you, Oisin, then? And when this happened when you were at secondary school, what about you, Oisin? You were saying it happened for you at secondary school.
It was mostly kind of cover bands around the time, you know. There was nobody at that time, maybe late 90s, early 2000s, there was just around Donegal town and that, or even in the whole of Donegal, there's very few people doing the original thing.
Yeah.
You know?
Why do you think that was there?
I don't know.
Because it's a county that would be formidable with songwriters and big hitters, you know what I mean? And from all different genres of music. And why would that, do you think?
I don't know why it was at the time. I think there was a band called the Revs. It kind of went up maybe around year 2000. They were doing their own stuff, and I think after that, people started going, hang on a minute, you don't have to play all covers, you can...
do you think at that time for you, they sort of led the way, in a way to show that it could be done?
They had, they played a slaying, and, they had #1 albums and all this sort of crack, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just kind of... People, since that now, I mean, there's so many people doing original stuff around Donegal.
Yeah, because the explosions happened. And what about you, Wally? Who was your first in school members of your band and stuff? Are there any of them still going?
People that played and I hung out with at school.
Yeah.
Musician wise, Johnny not for starters. Like Johnny's still playing, obviously.
Yeah.
I'm still pals with him. Baldy as well. He was in my class at school. Graham Baldrick. He would have played in
Swanee River.
Played in Zebra. And, Yeah, there was a whole pile of us. Sort of were tight friends at school.
Yeah.
All sort of musicians and playing in different bands with each other.
And so, like Oisin was saying there that in Donegal, I suppose at that time it took the Revs to start to move. When you were sort of at school, who was the bands that were about Derry then that would have been sort of, creating...
Derry was full of great bands back in the early 90s, mid-90s.
Yeah. Do you want to mention some of them just for people?
Turtle Assassins, they were my favourite Derry band of all time. And that Rory O'Doherty was in that band. Rory,
that's right.
From Little Hooks, Ardree.
Who went on Cuckoo to get signed,
And Kevin Sharkey played drums. He would have been my sort of drum mentor. Fantastic drummer. Then you had Stoom as well, and
they were signed as well, weren't they, Wally, at the time?
Yeah, Columbia.
Because I remember,
they were lethal live,
I remember down the Gas Yard, Stoom headlining one of the gigs way back. And like I was big at that time, and there was a big talk at that time. I suppose it took a lot of eyes and ears into the city at that time too. Do you think?
Definitely.
Yeah,
definitely.
And I suppose for the likes of yourselves, when you were coming on then and the bands you were going through, like your first would have been, what I came across, my friend, would have been like the New Caprice, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it was one of my first bands.
Yeah. Do you remember one time, I think down in the G sessions, I don't know what it was, and I think I christened one of the bands you came with the Velvet Slippers, but actually it wasn't. You came down and says, I was up there going, the Velvet Slippers! Here's the Velvet Slippers! Do you remember,
right,
do you remember that? I'm going, heal the Velvet Slippers, and I was so passionate, I was going to get this band the biggest roar ever, and one of the gigs over the G sessions, and Wally goes, it's not the Velvet Slippers. I says, what? It's the New Caprice. I says, it's fucking too late now.
I think there was a few different lineups that band, but I think that was when Maria was in the band. And I think she was it's the New Caprice.
You didn't mind. You thought it was a cool name. I don't know why I said it, because I've been in the situations there, sometimes you just go blank with bands and you're not sure. But and then yourself, Oisin, your first original band, who would that have been for you?
Chadsko.
Chadsko, because Chadsko played the festival.
That's right, we played in 2006.
You did, and you were a fine bunch of fellas together, and actually we used one of your songs for one of our videos. I'm not singing at all, you should know it, lad.
That one,
he doesn't know the song, and he wants me to name it, but I won't. See, by the end of this here, it's going to come. It's going to
I'll figure it out.
We're going to have
a really good time. That's the one.
There you go. Whoa! That's the one. Really good time, and it fitted perfect because that year it was great weather.
Aye.
And everything was brilliant. Oh, sorry, Wally. I should say to people out there that Wally's dog's here, and I must forget to stop clapping, because apparently Wally told me a story earlier on that Ruffus would jump up on the wall and Wally could walk away a mile, and then he'll clap his hands and Ruffus would come running to him.
Pretty much.
See, so Ruffus was sleeping there, and now this has happened. So, and Wally, for yourself after then, the New Caprice, you were a member of the Whole Tribe Sings.
That's right.
And I had...
that's going back 20 years now, it's mental.
Yeah, I had Paddy Nash in, and Paddy was speaking about it, and was speaking about how it all came about, that you got the harp ad and everything else that went with it. How was that for you at that time, and
well, it was great.
Being in the band? You must have been pretty young, were you, Wally?
I was very, early 22 probably.
Yeah.
21, 22 when I joined it. 22 maybe when I joined the band, I think. It was great. I was in between bands, and I was filling in for them, for their drummer Brian Deary at a show. He couldn't make it or something, and then they offered me the job then. And Brian Deary passed away recently.
Yeah, God rest him. Yeah,
who played for Cuckoo, fantastic drummer.
He was a fantastic drummer.
Lethal. And anyhow, we're going to the States. Do you want to join the band? I was all, sure, why not?
Would that have been your first trip away with the band? Actually, I know it wasn't, because you were with Roy Arbuckle, but was that before or after?
Well, I was doing a lot of gigs around the country, but I'd never played in the States, or I can't remember if I'd played in England yet. But I might have. But the States was that was a big deal, because we went out and signed, and we were living there. We were out there for 6 months to start with, and then we were back out again for another 6 months over this sort of 2-year period. Maybe we were out 3 times. I can't remember.
Yeah, and
it was a big learning curve, and we became really good musicians playing
Because you were
every
playing
night.
all the time.
Playing for your dinner as well at one point. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because well, the cans mounting up.
The cans.
The cans.
A lot of cans. Far too much alcohol, but sure, it was good crack.
But it was good crack, and it was a whole learning experience for you, wasn't it? And,
It was great. It was proper, like living as a band on the road as a unit, and working together and seeing the same people every day. It was a big eye opener, and in the States as well. So it was crazy. And we were there for September 11th as well. So many things, crazy things happened when we were over there.
Yeah.
Experiences. So.
Experiences. But I suppose, like everything, you pick the best ones out.
Oh,
you
definitely.
remember them, and you know that, you were over at, I suppose, with the band of brothers. You know, had you any sort of highlight times for yourself, or any kind of mad
the whole
moments?
tribe?
Aye.
But being in the States, there was a lot of festivals we played. I can't, to be honest, it was so long ago now. It's all like a foggy dew.
Mountain mist.
But it was just
So you understand the mountain mist, you know, in Donegal, man. Wally doesn't, because he's a city man. He's there in Donegal now, but he doesn't understand. Sorry, Wally, go ahead, bro.
The mist of the mountain. But I was just chatting to someone the other day, like not even about a show, but about the being in the States, and we rented this big house in Hartford, Connecticut, and we had this van. It was a Ford club wagon, but we took the back 2 seats out, and we had no furniture in the house, so we used them as our sofa. And we had this big party one night after a show we were playing locally, and everybody came back. There must have been like 150 people in the house. It was chaos. But some guy fell asleep in the seat, and if you fell asleep in the seat, you got the seatbelt was plugged in, so he fell asleep and he was strapped in, and then he woke up and he was trying to get off the seat. He was all, he couldn't get off the seat. And he was and then he just like threw up all over himself, strapped to the seat. Like, he didn't know what was going on.
Oh my God!
We were all
that's like someone, you're sitting in a house and something comes from a car or thing, and somebody just sort of clips you in, and then you're lying there rolled off and they're waking up and you're going, right, we're ready to go. Oh my! You're sitting in front of a TV, but no, that's brilliant. And so I suppose at that time it learned you about sticking together, learned you about what it's like in the road, learned you about what it's like to be signed.
Aye.
And to have that behind you. And for the likes of yourself, Oisin, we were chatting earlier on about, you come back to your parent or father always singing. Would you have been in and out of a lot of pubs and different, because you're a person that does trad, you can do rock and roll, you can do, you're a multi-man of music as such, and a brilliant singer as well.
I was out sort of playing in pubs from when I was about 12.
There you go.
Really? Because kind of small village kind of crack. It's not too weird for a 12-year-old to be in a pub. You know what I mean? It's local. You know what I mean?
It took you a while, they were saying. Come on. Well, you started with missing the mass one on a Sunday. Yeah.
Then my uncle had a pub, and there used to be loads of people from Lurgan used to come down for weekends and play Irish music. You know? So I remember going to the first time I seen the sun coming up.
Were you on the pints then?
I wish I was on the pints.
Look, he's got children now, Wally. The man was on the pints from 7 years of age.
Exactly.
From that first mass he must on the Sunday. So
he used to go down and kind of play and sit in and kind of learn how to back trad and stuff, and just kind of people. I remember people going play along, and I was going, well, I don't know how to, and they're going, follow, just do what I'm doing. You know what I mean? Then you start making the connections of what's going on with the music. Like.
Yeah, and telepathically then, by muscle memory, you were doing that.
Aye.
And what about all open tunings and all? Was that fascinating for you? They say a lot of trad,
Aye, I got into a bit of dagad and that kind of later on in my teens.
Aye. Yeah, that's deadly. And so like you, Wally, you then were going through, I suppose, you had a few bands, and know that you've been down in the underground or cellar or whatever, and Davies and so many different aliases, and like the likes of your next one would have been Here Comes the Land of Gentry.
Yeah. Red Organs.
Yeah, Red Organ. Sorry, Red Organ. Right, so Red Organ was next for you. And what about that whole experience? Because you'd have been in Chatsco at that time, wouldn't you? Oisin?
I would have been around the same time, all right.
Yeah. So
that was great. That was like just an insane. It was like the whole tribe sings on steroids, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It was a different it was a big step up.
Yeah.
Big roller coaster ride.
So how was it all? Explain to people out there. So you're sitting there, you come back, you move back home again, and all of a sudden you're in a band that we had up at the festival 2008, and the place was packed, and everybody was loving the vibe. And I remember even being down at Oxygen, and the Orgasmus was playing through the loudspeakers at that time, and I think you were out on tour at that time with, I don't know if it was Kasabian or Razorlight or something like that there.
We were playing with loads of different people and out on tour and doing
So
festivals.
how did the whole signing come about, for people out there?
We signed to, Vertigo, which is like Mercury, Universal. It was all it was Universal, and there was a lot of different labels after us. So we were sort of hot property after. We were only a band for like 3 months, and then there was like guys coming to Derry to sniffing around, like A&R people. There hadn't been any A&R people about in years in Derry.
Yeah.
So
from that, maybe the time of Cuckoo, maybe, or back then.
or Stoom, like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's like, this is like 2004. So it'd been, and 6, 7, 9, we were trying to get a deal with them, but they were offering us a demo deal at the time, and we sort of wanted something more.
Yeah. And who were they? They're
like an indie label.
Yeah.
It would have been suited us better, to be honest.
Yeah.
We shouldn't have really signed major.
Do you feel that if you
back.
had been an independent, that you could have organically went out, released something, built that fan base, and then reached up from there? Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, I think for the kind of band we were, it was the record company was trying to make us something we sort of weren't. They liked us, but then they wanted to mould us into something a bit more shiny.
Yeah.
Or something. But
was there something shiny at that time that they maybe wanted to be shiny along with? You know the way sometimes it can be all shine, bring out the spray and everybody's got the same shine as such. Did you think that was happening, or?
Yeah, the bands on their label were, Razorlight, and they just signed the Killers as well. It's that sort of big. They had big, high expectations for us. But if you look at it too, like the band, I don't think we would have lasted that long with the lineup, or we were going to just explode regardless. Do you know what I mean?
It was Orgasmus was about to happen.
Pretty much. You never knew what was going to happen at our shows, and that was pretty much the case of being in that band. You just didn't know what was going to happen next.
It was an explosive,
exciting.
It was exciting, explosive experience.
Yes.
Yeah, and but I suppose, like anything, you were saying there, you were in among bands that were, they were big bands at the time, because I remember you chatting to me one time about, I think it was Kasabian and you and the guitarist. You were saying you were out in a drink and you were getting on well, and they were good people. Like, they were probably starting off the exact same level as yourself then. I know they just broke out or whatever, but
they were doing their second album at Rockfield in Wales. We were there for like 3 months nearly. It was crazy, and they were in the studio beside us.
That's a very famous rock and roll studio. Like, there was a lot of big
everybody's
names over
recorded
the years.
there.
Yeah.
Like Motorhead, Rush, Queen. The Queen did all their, like, Dermot was playing the Bohemian Rhapsody piano.
Dermot McGowan
on a couple of tracks.
Dermy.
Yeah. Yes, Dermot.
Dermot, we love you. Oisin, do we love Dermot?
We do love Dermot.
I love Dermot.
Miss you,
and all the best when your holidays, and we wish you well when you come back. Where did he go on his holidays?
Belfast. He went to the big smoke suite. Did
he?
Hit the big time.
He left one big city and he moved to the other one.
He did.
But we love Dermy.
Yes.
We love Dermy. So if there was an ad break, what would we start with for Dermy? Dermy. He's a promoter now, isn't he? Or no?
Well, he's currently on furlough at the Limelight, and it's kicking. I think he's back hopefully in September.
Well, we hope that Dermy and all gigs and every type of gig out there and all premises have people and music in really soon, don't we, lads?
Yes.
We do.
100%.
And so you move away, Oisin, back to yourself with Chatsco, because even yourselves in Derry, you were building a good profile at a time. And so Paddy Danner, and you want to mention the rest of the guys in the band.
It was good crack for a couple of years, but it was kind of the same as what Wally was saying. You just never knew what was going to happen. So we're all a bit young and mad. Well, except for Paddy Danner, who was 10 years older than the rest of us.
No way.
And probably should have known a bit better.
But Paddy was just letting rip from the Donegal. Uncle Paddy just take his own money. Drink 4 more Guinness. 4 more Guinness, Oisin, you're not worthy. Is that the way it was? Like,
I remember one time we played at a gig in Auntie Annie's, and Dennis and Ryan in the dressing room started this. It was like a playful scrap. They were just wrestling each other. But they wrestled each other down the whole stairs and down out the front door, and they were still like wrestling each other out in the street. And there's all these people sort of standing around looking, going, "These boys are mental." Do you know what I mean?
So you had a bad brawl.
Well, it wasn't even a brawl, but they were laughing while it was going on. You know what I mean? It was like a playful wrestling match.
But there was love among that.
Oh, aye.
Who came out the worst in
I don't know.
Paddy's a big, strong-looking chap.
Well,
You're square shoulders in yourself, Oisin. You know, you chop a block. You would chop a good block. You would, you know.
You know, Ryan, for all the wee size of him, you know what I mean? He's, you know.
Ryan, see, he'd maybe the wee ninja, but
that's it.
You know, he just the wee wriggle, isn't he?
That's it.
He got the wriggle, and he kicked you an ankle. He took you out quick.
That's the one, yeah.
So you know that, Wally. Never underestimate the wee light ninja, because they're like butterflies. You know, they fly around like Muhammad Ali. And but at that time, you know, you released. I think you released a couple of EPs, didn't you?
Just the one.
Just the one.
Just the one. We managed to get out.
Yeah. And Scruff and all would have been around that time.
That's right. We would have done a lot of gigs with Scruff, and we used to do a lot of gigs with. I can't even remember the name. There was a band up in the Delawares.
They were great.
We used to do a lot of gigs with the Delawares.
They were good, aye.
Jesus in my jeans and all.
Yeah.
Gentry
did a little shows with them boys.
Down in the G session units were down with them.
I remember doing a show in the Empire and stuff as well.
Yeah.
I remember them playing Glasgowbury too.
Yeah.
Actually doing one of the stages they were playing.
Yeah, and then needn't
your man was a great guitarist.
Eamon,
the guy with a 335.
What do you call him? Good player.
They're some good. There was that old 70s sound, you know, but old Stones on them, you know, and whatever else they had before gigs. We don't know that, do we, Wally?
No comment.
No comment. I have no comment either. It was Oisin put it in my ear there. Go on, say it. Go on. Ruffus.
You know, you were saying about Red Organ. Do you remember the night Paul Epworth? You know, Paul. He's like a big shot producer now, and he was working with Red Organ, and he came to Derry, and he stayed for a week, and he was staying on my flat for a few nights anyway, in Derry. But he came down. We on the Saturday night. We have this gig in Draperstown, and he came down with us, and he ended up doing the sound here for us when we were playing. He was on here. He wrote "Rolling in the Deep" with Adele, and he was doing the sound on here. It was quite funny with our PA, and I couldn't get it. Our PA was terrible, but he made us sound amazing with this really awful PA.
There you go. We had an international.
He did the James Bond theme with Adele, and he's produced all these massive bands.
So what are we saying to this gentleman? That
Epworth?
Waldorf and Mr. Epworth? Paul Epworth, we said his name, ad break, Paul Epworth. Next Bond song. Who's going to do it?
Me?
Waldorf?
And Cannon.
Oh, Waldorf?
And Cannon.
Sorry, Waldorf?
And Cannon.
I love Echo.
Waldorf?
And Cannon.
So, that's what we want. The next Bond song, we want it to come from
Waldorf
and Cannon.
Thank you very much.
Sorry.
So, and also, you mentioned Here Come the Land of Gentry. 1 year up at the festival. So it was, I don't know, it was 2 o'clock, half one maybe, or half two, I'm not sure. But I was over on the other side of the road. And
the campsite, was it? Aye.
And it was all going, like everyone was closed down, and you could thinking, people are just going to chill. Next thing, that's right. I could hear this from the campsite, and then I didn't know what was going on. And next thing, everybody sang it. Everybody was singing the
song led by.
Were you up among the two?
Oh, I was there. I think I was playing the Jambi or something.
Lethal.
Aye.
And it went on. Were you there that year, Rose?
I don't think I was there that year.
It was 2008 or 9.
It was deadly.
Or 10.
And like another band that you were in, Wally, that, you know, done good, and then just, I suppose, what you had there.
Another just blew up. There's a
what are all the people
theme going on here? Like a theme. It's not me, by the way. They're just saying.
Would you like to describe the theme? It's just like if it was a movie, what would it be called? Like Explosive Tales of Lord Wallace from the Waterside.
It's perfect.
Well, let's set it out there. So, but look, at the time, what people should know about the Here Come the Land of Gentry, and all the bands we're talking about here, there's still stuff online, and yourselves, I'm sure, and but that band, when yet again you come down to sell it, they were another band that everybody sung along with. Do you know what I mean? And Rio, but I think that band had lot of experienced players in it, and I think sometimes you get a pair of experienced players together, Oisin, you know what I mean, and they just have this thing. It's not, maybe they just play their music and it just seems to happen, and it was happening for yourselves, and then I suppose what happened then? Did you just call it a day, Wally, or just... Because remember the big gig in Derry where everybody was in the red and black? I had not much to do.
Oh, yeah.
I had not much to do. I was ready. And I think I had a red
Gypsy
scarf.
Ball.
Gypsy Ball.
With a urban voodoo machine.
Yeah.
I put that show on.
Yeah, but remember Ewan's recorded the album for Here Come the Land of Gentry in St. Column's Hall.
Oh, the live one?
Yeah.
Yeah, that didn't come out.
and
well, it came out eventually, but
aye.
But a few years later.
But that was some night.
Yeah, it was amazing. Such a shame, it didn't come out at the time.
Were you there that night, Oisin?
I missed that one too.
Did he not invite you?
No.
You were probably playing.
I was probably playing at some wedding or something.
What song? 12. It was about 12 o'clock. What do you think you're pumping out? Brown-eyed girl.
No, not quite that bad. But normally it's not really the first dance that gets you. Somebody will ask you to play, some horrible Paddy Nash song or something like that.
A big slow song, is it? A big belter.
We completely murdered a first dance one time. It was a Paddy Nash song, and your man had taken the camera, the video dude said this beforehand. Can I take an XLR to your desk into the camera? And I mean, we murdered it. So Christ knows what they're winning.
Everything's all right here. This man's a professional to the right hand side.
We completely ruined somebody's
Tierney's
wedding
total
video.
professional. But it was a good memory for them,
Oh, I look back and
for
go,
every curse, it's a
happy
blessing to you. For every curse that comes out of their house after this is a blessing to you. And they only will watch it once anyway, so you're 100% that. And Wally, then you were in Cashier Number 9 as well.
That's right.
A band that was signed
Bella Union.
Bella Union,
Yeah.
a really good label.
I got headhunted for that band, so it was pretty cool. But I joined late after they'd recorded the album, so I'm not playing on the album or anything. I was doing all the live shows.
Yeah, it was deadly, but it sounded deadly.
Oh, it's one of the best albums ever to come out of this country.
Yeah. Paddy Nash talked about it too when he was on, a Gold Star. He talked about
what a tune, hey?
Yeah. And he called it the perfect song, his favourite song, I think.
Yeah.
And so the likes of playing...
I played harmonic AC and percussion, and they needed to
You had the
fill out
djembes
the
and all.
sound. I had the congas and
congas and all.
Sort of.
And so was that sort of something they wanted to add to it? I suppose they wanted to give that...
They needed their live show was sort of was they wanted to sort of make it more happening or something. So.
Well, it was deadly. It sounded deadly, And is it something you think Cashier will ever do? An album again, or
ex-musician, like I was playing drums for them as a session drummer.
Yeah,
live.
so ex-musician was still Cashier, but it was just a new name.
That was their album was to be the second Cashier album, and then they all fell out and just classic band stuff.
Yeah.
But they've got their new new album's finished. It's sitting there. I played in one of the tracks.
Brilliant.
It sounds pretty good, like, to be honest. It sounds really good.
And should we get maybe Danny on to chat?
100%.
Yeah, well, we
well
send a
shy,
message.
That boy Danny, though. He's well shy. He doesn't like being in front of cameras. And
does he not like the cameras?
he's all paranoid, aren't you, Danny?
Well, what if we put a big screen beside him there and just put the camera this side of him? So you wouldn't see the cameras over here. Do you think we could do that? And well, that's, I'm sure...
They're still signed to Bella Union too. That album's going to come out, their new one on Bella Union, as far as I know. So things will be happening soon. Again, you're going to be hearing more from them.
So are we exclusively bursting out news here that this could happen?
Maybe, yeah. It's on the cards.
That's brilliant.
It's recorded, so it's going to be out.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Well, Danny, if you would chat up, we'll welcome him in. And so now we're coming to the likes of yourselves and Waldorf and Cannon, because I remember Oisin going up to Wally, your flat, or no, your office at down the bottom of Magazine Street.
Aye, yeah, the Northern Counties.
And seeing your new drum setup, and I remember you saying to me, I don't know, Lord Patrick, what it's supposed to be, but I'm going to rock it. And you did rock it. You sussed it out. Do you want to explain to people what exactly it was called?
The Farmer Foot Drum Kit. It's like a drum kit that you play with your feet, so it's a proper full sounding kit with a bass drum, snare and hi-hats. And on the one I have, I have two of them. It's a 6 pedal setup, so it frees up your hands for playing guitar or You could play piano.
Well, what people need
Playing
to,
with your feet. You can play anything with your hands. At your feet, pretty much.
What people need to know is, I think you're making it sound a bit easy there, because actually you're playing drums, you're playing guitar, and you're playing harmonica, and you're singing in between. And I know you both switch and change, but did you ever think at a stage that you would have been doing? You've went through all the bands, the big, you've got up there and it was whatever way it was, and now there's you and Oisin, and all of a sudden you're multi-instrumentalist. Is that something that you wanted that Waldorf Cannon to be, or did it just happen? Because I know you guys, one thing is you like to practice and have it right, because you're experienced musicians. So you're not going to be going, I'll do all right, that I must 3 lines, or I must the word, or I must the chord. You know, because you practiced a long time, didn't you, before even the world knew who you were.
We had to. It was like we were learning instruments. I'd only been playing guitar I hadn't been playing guitar that long. Maybe when Red Organ split up, I started learning playing guitar. But so the fit drum kit was new, and doing all that was new. And Oisin never played bass either, so we had to get it right. We didn't want to go out
because you were
do a show and
guitarist.
be awful.
Yeah, and did you find that strange? Was it hard to accept? Because you're
He's lethal on the bass now.
I know you are. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I had a bass, and kind of, because I'm left-handed, so like I think a couple of times, maybe when I was younger, I'd filled in playing a right-handed bass upside down with a couple of friends' bands, for a gig or two here and there. But I switching over to the bass then, I was, for the first while, it was kind of like, oh Jesus, what am I doing? I don't know what I'm at here. You know what I mean? But we practiced that much. See, until we did our first gig, it was just, we could have been like, our practices. We could have went there at 8 o'clock in the morning and not left till or 8 o'clock in the evening and not left till 2 or 3 in the morning.
Yeah.
At the start, you know what I mean?
And just over and over again. Yeah, because
trying to write songs too to get for a set.
Yeah.
It was Goons were playing in the Limelight, and Cahar asked us to open up. So we were like, right, we have a show now, so it's on. We're a band officially, so we need to be good here.
You're hitting the big smoke. You're hitting the big smoke, lads.
It's a big show for our first show.
Yeah.
In the Limelight, that's a
it's a big one. Yeah.
We didn't even we didn't even have all the songs finished maybe in the week or two before that, so it was
pure tense.
Yeah.
A lot of was it odd? We
really nervous, just nerves.
I
thought I was going to kill over, to be honest.
Yeah, for people out there maybe to know it, like that never really changes, you know. It's and because you could be looking at someone there and on stage and they just switch on just when you'll do it in another few minutes by going up and playing a tune, and and it's always a nerve-wracking thing. Microphones are nerve-wracking, and so I suppose going out for your first gig, knowing that you're doing something different, you're a two-piece, you're 2 guys that were used to having, let's just say that backup, that wee army, behind you, that there was always somebody to, I must go on there, Paddy will pick it up, or I must go on there, you know what I mean, Kieran Duffy will pick it up, or Johnny Nutt, and so what was the difference then between playing in a band formula and then there you are in the Limelight till a new crowd? Well, like, I know you said it was like you were nervous, but like I suppose you had to play the song sometime. And I seen you too. I don't know if it was around the same time at the Atlantic sessions.
Yeah, I was probably a few years later.
I would have been a few years later.
Yeah,
you rocked it that night.
Aye,
because you really the place was packed. I remember you been down and I can't remember what it's called, the wee bar. Anchor Bar. Because I think that's a musical bar. Anyway, it seemed to be
the Ireland New Zealand. The one where Ireland beat New Zealand, that match was on. So we're sitting going, Jesus, how are we going to fare against this rugby crowd? But we won them over, so it was all right.
There was some bouncy big lads, big lads. But you still get the big chop the wood shoulder, so you were all right, lad. I'm looking over at you, and then Wally's got a queer broad shoulder too. You wouldn't be outdone. But Wally, you're a Barry Manilow fan. No, just no. People just think, you could be in a rocker there, and next thing you say, I really like such and such, and people go, what? Yeah, no, but what people should know is, Barry Manilow, legend that he is, my name is Lola, right? So how did that come about for you?
I was living with Dermot and being in a band with Dermot for years. It turned into something the crack. Just it was just having the crack. We'd always stick Barry Manilow on when we were partying, and he had this album, which is the one I played on a Monday night. That was his parents' album, and which apparently he was conceived to.
No way! Well, so here, I don't know me, man. So, I was just sitting there going, that's just going to be one of these wee nights. They made a wee pina colada, and I sat there and, just a wee pina colada, Bertha. Oh yes, Ron, have a wee pina colada, for a bit of crack. But so, we'll not say the man's second name, but people rewind. If people rewind this podcast, you'll find the name. So there was romance, and there was birth. And there was a legend born, people should know. And his name was Jeremy.
And that vinyl sat on our mantelpiece, and it's just covered in scratches. And during Monday, it jumps at this point, and it jumped every night I played it. And everybody's, and Monday nights, Manilow Mondays. It was good crack.
Oh, brilliant. So, I never knew that, because I know that you're great at Photoshop. And
Marty Doherty, Skeets is the Photoshop legend.
Marty Doherty, you had made Wally Barry Manilow one time on Facebook.
That was Marty.
It looked class, and and you also, the tunes. What I would say is, for people out there, you're also music tutors, and I was aware of Oisin, yourself, and Paddy Danner in the Link Centre in Derry, a place for what people should know it was all about young people getting access to music lessons, creative advice for jobs in industry, and learning how to put together songs and everything. Wally, you are a tutor who work on many things. You were down here many years ago with me in the Rural Key Music Project, and and you've done it many times, come down and shared your skills. Now, for the likes of yourselves, and now you're both involved with the great Marty McGill, the innovator of all things music for young people in Northern Ireland. Marty's got a few projects going. Do you want to explain about the projects that you are involved in with Marty?
In fact, there's a hothouse happening, an online one, which we could plug now for Marty, because he's asked me to share it on Facebook.
Odd time.
Yeah.
Marty McGill.
Nerve Centre, Hothouse.
Hothouse.
July, what date is it? 5th of July to the 9th of July.
Everything you ever needed, it's there.
You don't have to leave your house.
Explain to people what's going to happen, Oisin and Wally.
Right, well, a crack team of mentors.
Mentors from the other side of space.
Yes. I'm a mentor, he's a mentor. We're putting these virtual rooms, and 4 or 5, 6 students will be in a virtual room with us, and we will spend a week writing a song from scratch, which then we will record via our mobile devices. Sync them up online, and the tutor or the mentors will then put them together and mix them. And at the end of the week, you'll have an original song that you have written together with a group of people that you might not know.
And what's happening there is good people meet new people, new friends.
Yeah, it's great for that.
People connect with new ideas, and people were able to get their stories across. And
it's great for confidence as well, and just being able to hang out with people and socialise.
Anything that gives access to young people that are interested in music and creative industries should check it out, and because there's something there for everyone. Do you know what I mean? And I suppose it's like ourselves down here with the Rural Key, it's the same thing. There's always people interested, lads, as you know, to get involved, and maybe out there the system should see how effective it is in helping young people and their mental health, Wally, and Oisin too. You know, you both have dealt with young people, and so the likes of the tutoring. What people should know about that, you're actually everything you're chatting about here from the start is now you're passing that on to other people, and I'm sure that makes you feel good too, being out there, being able to do that, Oisin and Wally. Does it? Yeah.
It definitely is. I mean, you see a lot of people that were doing the workshops and stuff, and then you see years later they're in bands, like the likes of the ones that Cherem, and we all kind of 2013 they were all doing the music hothouses, and Joe Layton, great jazz guitar player, he was in there. And,
he was in one of my bands.
He's
unbelievable. He's unreal guitarist.
So at the end of the day, you've helped them young people then energize them to get to where they are now. And Young Cherm's doing good. They're creating lots of
Yeah.
waves, and the Touts in Derry, another band that created.
I've heard a couple of tracks off their soon to be released debut album. It sounds really good.
Yeah. So what we'll say is, so people listen out for the Touts online.
Yeah, I don't know when it's coming out, but it's done.
Yeah.
So that's exciting for them.
That's good, and you can see that yourselves, because obviously you've run it that long, many years, that you're seeing people now that have grown up and they're doing it and they're following suits of. What's it? Do you think at the minute the scene in Derry like? I know that I know that like say pre-COVID, and I know that we're at a stage now that for yourselves, there's for like I listened there recently in England. I think it was like 2/3 or festivals, independent ones, had cancelled because of they just couldn't get insurance, for cancellation. And but you guys, you're involved in a festival that is happening in a few weeks' time, which is the Stendhal Festival in Limavady. So, what's your thoughts on the run up to it, and how you feeling about it all? How you feeling about it all? I know, obviously, I'm not going to go into how you're feeling about no gigs, because everybody knows it's so drastic. We spoke over a cup of tea about, for instance, just going back to what we spoke about there a minute ago about passing on your skills to young people, and because of the way it is now, you've missed out on nearly a whole month's work of working with young people.
Yeah, it's
So I suppose in a way that brings up that whole there's people saying now that last year was hard, but this year's maybe because of people not opening up, it's just going to be just as hard, and that this is the year that people need maybe more support, and I think that having a festival on and having bands playing like yourselves, I suppose it'll do a lifter. But how's your feeling on it all and the run up to it? And
I'm excited to be playing a gig. Yeah, that's for sure. And
you're playing with a band, aren't you?
Yeah, it's the first time doing this. It's
your band. I seen one very famous merry man. I'm actually sitting at a table that he made.
Oh, right.
He and now I'm going to not make this cryptic for people, but TWBS.
Yeah,
that's a good code, isn't it?
Yeah. Am
I nearly close to the man that's going to join you?
Yeah, on stage.
On stage,
there,
and get there. Yeah. And who was the other cryptic code?
He's a wild man. He's a bit of a tout.
He's coming from the tout side, and is he what? So he's sledging a guitar. This dude,
Paul's. Yeah.
And then what? And what about?
So can I mention the name?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Paul Connolly, Woodburn Savages.
Yeah.
Guitar. And Jason Feenan from Touts on drums. So it's big sound now.
Yeah.
We were nearly finished just about finished the second album, and I put drums on it instead of foot drum kit. I redid it all with drums, and I was just thinking, let's do a band this time. Just
because
change it up.
Yeah, it sounded right for it.
Yeah, it sounds really.
It's going to sound mighty then. Do you find it back to the old days then, like, having a band around you, it's good comfort again?
Aye.
Do you know what I mean? Not a pillow, you know what I mean by that? That extra person, that extra voice. I mean, Paul Connolly's I'm sure he'll chant with you and sing along.
Aye, yeah, he's going to do that.
Yeah. Well, if he isn't, we've just said he's going to now. So
he has to.
We'll get him. He's actually doing it, and we're practicing on Tuesday. So he's been learning the guitar bits or coming up with stuff. So, and now we're sticking a mic in front of him now. So no pressure, Paul.
It's less pressure than us, anyway.
It's less singing to do.
Well, it's less pressure. He can just worry about playing guitar and singing instead of the foot drum kit.
Do you feel it will take a lot away from yourself, Wally? It'll be good.
But I can't. It's weird. I'm learning to play the songs without the foot drum kit. It's weird. So I can't play some of the songs without my feet going. So it sounds good. Like, so it sounds really.
That's good.
I'm really happy with it. I'm just hopefully we'll do a few more shows.
Yeah.
So
that's good, because maybe maybe I suppose for people out there listening, the best thing maybe to do is actually set up a wee small tour, and obviously your new like your first album, Old Dogs New Tricks, that's still up there for people, and really good album. Do you want to tell people about it, where to get it, and your first album?
Yeah, there's actually a couple of vinyl floating around still. People like vinyl, and you just get it at our Bandcamp shop, which is the best place to get it.
Yeah, a lot of people are going there now.
Cool Discs in Derry.
Yeah,
cool. They sell our stuff physically in their shop, obviously, in Cool Discs, and then
Kev McGee.
Kev's not in there anymore, but
No.
Jason's actually working in there now from Touts, and Lee Mason. And
Lee has been there a long time
Aye.
and he's always been with people. That's Lee Mason and Cool Discs.
yeah,
is that right?
That's right. Aye.
And he's been there a long time. Even when I was up there, he was there, and he's always been there for bands in Derry putting out music, which is a very positive thing. I'm sure
Yeah.
for yourselves, you know what I mean. That he's still there.
Yeah, it's good. It's,
Do you know what I mean? Because it's a thing that it is hard to find. There was one, and well, there's a new one in Marfelt now. Nico has a shop that does records and all. You know.
Oh, Nico.
Aye.
I know Nico.
So Nico's got a shop, and he's got an ice cream place as well. But up above it, he's got a retro old album shop. So maybe
Well,
he's a
must
place
check
maybe
out.
you could
Yeah.
check out, and I'm sure he would accept your album too. You know what I mean? The name has just left me of the name of his shop, but it's Nico DeVito,
yeah,
and you know him from
the Greased Palm.
the Grace
I
Palm,
was
is right.
playing percussion for them for a while.
Yeah, I forgot about
Back
the
in the
Grace
day.
Palm, and you were with Paddy Nash too.
Pat-
at the start.
Ardrey.
Ardrey, yeah, and going back to Ardrey, about like you're saying about the trad, that was like a whole get together of just a whole pile of musicians. You seem to really
Yeah.
enjoy Ardrey, Wally. Over
Aye, we're
You
still
know,
we're still a band. We just haven't
Yeah,
played. We're actually
yeah.
chatting about doing something at the end of the year. So
maybe you'll
Christmas
come
show or something?
Maybe you'll come down here with Ardrey, because you know a lot of people like you coming down, and we'll get you down. And
Sesh.
but so you released an EP during lockdown for people out there. Do you want to talk about that and say
Yeah,
where
the
you know,
lockdown EP.
Yeah,
It was just a digital release only. So and it's still up on our Bandcamp shop, Waldorf and Cannon at Bandcamp. And there's 6 songs on that. There's a couple of live
From here.
songs on it from here. From
holy.
remember
That's right.
we had Dear Richards on it. I'll Sleep When I'm Dead, and a couple of live singles. But Dear Richard is going to be in the album as well, but it's a different version. These are the EP versions.
Richard's going to be famous out of this, isn't he?
Aye.
Yeah, that'd be sort of letter from all them
That's
years gone by.
Still there. Get up into the Baroque music section of the McGee Library and have a look. I can't remember what exact book, but it was something about Bach or something like that.
Sore back, no?
So
Or bad back. Which one was
you were
it?
writing an essay and you couldn't be arsed writing about, and
Yeah.
found it in there.
But look, another great supporter of your music is Steve McCauley.
Stephen's
I
great.
mean, people out there probably know all about Stephen, but for those that don't, like he runs the Electric Mainline show and has been doing great work over the years for bands in Derry and far afield. Now it's like the man's show. He's got people from everywhere and showing the power of his show and the style of his show. I thought I'd just give him because the likes of yourselves, where you were on where music matters, which is a big thing. It's a BBC thing, and for people to be on it, and so it shows that people out there are getting to your music.
I was really surprised we got it, to be honest, just because of the song itself. It's not aligned by any one side. It's just bashing everybody.
Yeah, it is.
But I was really surprised that we got plays or playlisted in Northern Ireland because of it. I was really surprised. I just thought the video, spent ages on the video going, right, the only way this song's going to get heard is through this video.
And then the video was
shared.
good. Did you make the video? It was really good.
It came out well. It's good crack.
It did, and I suppose, but maybe you were thinking that way, but maybe people and what's going on now were thinking different and thinking this is the perfect song for, you know what I mean, Oisin, for now to happen. You know what I mean, and maybe you were on the pulse.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing. So, what I would say is for yourselves, there's a new album coming out.
Yeah, it's nearly done. I keep saying it's nearly done, but it really is nearly done.
I think if it hadn't been for the whole COVID thing, it probably would have been out last year.
And it wouldn't have been. It wouldn't have. Sorry, I can't speak properly. I just wouldn't have been happy with it. The COVID thing.
COVID thing took the risk or took the rush out of it. Did it? It took a rush out of it. And because you could have been, with a lot of people coming in here, lads, there's everybody's had to sort of rejig and reformulate and replan. So it's a case of just, I suppose, with your new album, you do that, and hopefully, if you're out and about, we'll maybe get you down for a gig And whether this man's Wuthians or your 2-piece or a 5-piece or going back to your evangelist choirs from your young days, whatever you want to bring, like you can bring, you can do you two, bring 40 singers, and, you know, if you want to. We're happy, like, and we don't have enough mics for them, but we can sort you out.
We were actually chatting to different people, like Cahir and Connor were originally going to do it, but they've been sort of busy.
Yeah.
But we've got a sort of pool of musicians that are going to hopefully rotate and play when they can.
That's really good.
Which is, will keep it exciting for us.
Aye.
And hanging out with different people too. And there'll be different takes on what we do. And Phil Curran used to play drums with Glenn. And was even chatting to Kevin Sharkey yesterday about it. And a few other heads. Like there's a few different people.
Kevin's a good singer too and player. Way back in the day, isn't he?
Aye, drummer. He's
yeah.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
So,
well, lads, from a small but massive podcast over to Waldorf and Cannon, it's been great guests. Yeah. There hasn't been any of them rolling fights you were on about,
no,
Oisin.
not yet.
We've been calm. The man has been a legend.
Rufus,
Ruffus, you have been a legend. I love the stories you were telling me, but I can't tell the people them because the lads might roll and fight me. But Ruffus has been a great guest. Oisin, you've been a great guest. Wally, you've been a great guest. Philip James Wallace, Oisin Kincannon. You're going to give us a couple of songs. Give yourselves a round of applause. And I hope when we do it that Ruffus is going to...
Well done, Rufus.
Well done, Ruffus. Well done, Ruffy. Oh, give us a wee dance there, Ruffus. Ding, 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 ding. Yeah. Hey, he loves it. Look at that tail go. He is pure rock and roll. Here, thank you very much, everyone. Good luck. Bye.